Hi guys, it's me again, the running dog, and today I have with me two interesting running shoes for your viewing pleasure. The two shoes I got here today is the Adidas Adistar 1 and 2. This is the flagship version of this shoe, the Adistar 1, and this is the second model of these shoes, the Adistar 2. Now, I've had this particular one, the Adistar 1, for several months now, and I've put in quite some distance in these shoes. Now, at the end of this video, I hope I should have been able to help you make a better decision. Now, let me state here that having run in both shoes and worn them around for some time, I can tell you that these two shoes are basically the same with only minor changes to the Adistar 2. Most of my descriptions will be based on the Adistar 1, and areas where there are some changes in the Adistar 2, of course, I will not hesitate to mention them. So let's dive right in. In the Adidas website, they describe this shoe as a distance running shoe inspired by the idea of perpetual motion. Now, these shoes are monstrous. Take a look at these shoes. They are quite chunky, but how much of the promise in that statement above was delivered during the run test? That's what we are here about in this review. If you take a look at both shoes, you will see that the shape of the midsole is basically the same. This shoe sits on a high platform with a wide base and a deep heel bevel, placed more laterally, of course, to conform with the natural heel striking. The underside has a gentle rocket geometry, more pronounced in the forefoot to aid transition from landing to toe off. If you take a look at this one, you also see that it's basically the same. Now, these shoes are heavy. The Adistar 1 in my size weighs 351 grams, that in US 11 or EU 45, which is my usual size. They are similar in weight to the Ultra Boost 22, which weighs 365 grams in the same size. However, these are much higher and firmer than the Ultra Boost. The Ultra Boost has a stack height of around 31 millimeters. This has 37.5 millimeters. The Adistar 2, on the other hand, weighs higher because this comes in at 365 grams, while this weighs 351. That's about 14 grams heavier. The stack height for these shoes is another place where there's a little difference. The Adistar 1 has 37.5 millimeters in the heel and 31.5 millimeters in the forefoot, giving a heel-to-toe drop of 6 millimeters. The Adistar 2 also has the same heel-to-toe drop of 6 millimeters. However, the stack height is now reduced by about 4.5 millimeters. So you now have 33 millimeters in the heel here and 27 millimeters in the forefoot. The price range for these shoes are the same. I got these at a discount though for 292 Saudi Riyal. That's approximately 78 US dollars. But the usual price, which I've seen on various sites, ranges between 90 to 130 US dollars, depending on the size you are getting, the site you are buying from, and the colorway of the shoes, of course. The ride in both shoes are basically the same, well cushioned in a firm way, smooth and responsive. They do feel high on the feet, especially the Adistar 1. The shoe features a dual density EVA midsole, which you can see. The femur repetitor plus is placed in the heel area, while the rest of the midsole consists of the less firm repetitor foam. Now, this is mildly flexible, especially in the forefoot area, while it is stiffer in the thicker midfoot and heel regions. This actually works as an advantage because it aids quicker energy transfer from landing to toe off. I found the shoe quite snappy despite the weight. The response more than compensated for the weight of these shoes. The heel bevel, the rocker geometry, and the mild stiffness results in a rather firm but comfortable landing with quick energy transfer as you roll from landing to toe off, giving you a very snappy ride. I must mention that these shoes need quite a break-in. At lace-up of the new shoes, they feel hard. However, as you put in the miles, they begin to soften. By 10 kilometers, they have become pretty comfortable. The repetitor plus in the heel needed even a few more miles to also get to its optimal level. The underfoot feel is by no means plush, thanks to the firmness in the midsole as well as the thin removable insole that does little to improve the underfoot comfort. Although these shoes do not envelop the foot in softness like the Ultra Boost 22, it is not unpleasant in any way. It is quite comfortable underfoot. I wore it for hours after my 12-kilometer run and it felt quite good. The engineered mesh upper of these shoes is minimally stretchy. They did feel okay on the feet, nothing harsh. A lot of comfort came from the roomy design of these shoes. The toe box is quite wide and roomy, and the toes spread out nicely. The tongue is thick, free, and nicely padded. It doesn't also move around because you can see that it has holes here where the laces pass through it. There are lots of padding also around the collar and the heel counter, as well as the tongue here. All leads to a very comfortable feeling around the ankle. The arch support to these shoes is optimal. Your feet just relaxes and rolls along with the shoe as you move around. Great for any distance without overly stressing the feet. At the end of my runs, the legs felt very good. This shoe fits true to size. I got my usual size in this US 11 or EU 45 and they fit perfect. The lockdown was pretty good, especially over the midfoot. Soft midfoot band with thick padded tongue ensure cozy but firm even lockdown on the midfoot. The heel lockdown is less secure. However, this was well compensated by the firmness of the lockdown over the midfoot, and I did not experience any significant heel slippage during any of my runs. The laces are soft and not securely over any distance. They are decently breathable shoes. The Adidas 1 and also improved on the Adidas 2. The outsole of both shoes are exactly the same. The thick Continental rubber outsole offered very good traction on both dry and wet pavement. They appear quite durable too, so expect significant miles in this. I took a stint off-road and they also did hold up quite well. These shoes were quite stable despite the high platform. The shoes have very wide base, both at the heel and especially at the forefoot area. The wide base, the firm midsole, and the TPU in the heel counter here all combine to give significant stability to these shoes. They look great with both workout gear and casual. The wide base and firmness of the midsole are great for all forms of gym workouts. The bounce from the midsole is also great for high intensity interval training too. They change the upper completely. We see that they are completely different. I think the upper in the two looks better, and on running it is slightly more breathable. If you look at both, you will see that both the width and the height of the toe box is reduced in Adistar 2. The result is that the upper hugs the toes and feet more closely, giving a perfect lockdown to this shoe, even without engaging the runner's loop. It gives that feeling which I love in running shoes. The shoe just feels like an extension of the feet. That's what you get with the Adistar 2, and I really did enjoy that. However, it did feel a little tight around here. But it's not a deal breaker for me. I just believe that it loosens out a little as I put more miles in this. If you are a fan of chunkiness, of course, the Adistar 1 probably remain your favorite. However, the lockdown in the Adistar 2 is very attractive. In summary, both of them are comfortable and durable. Good bounce, decent lockdown, stable, and great looks. The only cons that I have in this shoe is heaviness. These shoes feel quite heavy when you put them on the scale, but when you are running in them, they give quite a snappy ride, even better than some shoes that are much lighter. So it depends on how you take that weight. So what will I use this shoe for? Medium to low pace runs of any distance, especially long runs. I will also recommend this shoe for gym and high intensity interval training. So that's it, guys, on the Adistar 1 and 2. Thanks for watching this. Once again, I urge you to please subscribe to the channel, like the video. It helps us out and encourages us to also turn out. Until the next video, it's goodbye from me.